So specifically in the text channel of room 4, not the weird embedded secret boogeyman room 4 chat. So I'll type here. Okay? Nice. And yes, hey Sayos, hi guys. Good luck. Let's have a beautiful round.
Good luck.
Happy to be here with you guys. Cool. And hi Mez and Brian and everyone else here. So yeah, POI there where we're talking, starting my speech in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, the case of our side is very simple. In basic negotiation and in trying to get the best upside for your country and for your region, there has to be a clear upside. But the point in which conditions are vague, ambiguous, and sketchy is the question which we challenge in order to truly determine if this is going to truly be good for you. And there might even be a reason in terms of what the other side is being vague so that they can change it down the line and be able to use their levers of control to be able to control you and entrench you in some proxy war or conflict like what they've done for far too long. Ladies and gentlemen, after overthrowing Bashar al-Assad, Syria continues to remain a diverse and complex reality given the tension, discussion, and plurality that exist within their very rich culture, given a lot of nuances to religion and ethnic diversity. This is amidst a backdrop of a transitionary government dealing with the cronies and ghosts of Assad's past, opposition groups looking to be able to destabilize and illegitimize their control of power and entrench them into chaos and conflict because these particular people are angry at the new transitionary government because people who they look up to were actually taken away given their affinity to Assad. This is amidst the existence of militia and coalition groups that actually can represent a particular threat to the stability, and we believe that all of this happening amidst the very vague bogeyman proposal of the United States has given leeway for us to be able to doubt that. Let's put this in context. What we're seeing with Donald Trump's season 2 of MAGA is protectionism with all these reciprocal tariffs and cutting budgets to be able to deal with their debt situation in the name of austerity, like what they did with US aid. So, the reason why it's probably vague and unclear is because the US isn't willing to give certain sets of commitment in terms of what these are going to look like because it fundamentally goes against what the incumbent government is doing. The United States wants to have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to use their lever of power and authority to be able to get the best upside of the deal while not committing a sense of thing to them. What is the converse harm for Syria? The harm is that they need to be able to deal with a bunch of concessions. Things which look like, particularly A, the elimination of chemical weapons. Again, this debate is not about chem weapons being good or bad, but we think it's in their interest to have the means, motivation, and capacity to be able to defend their borders and be a force to be reckoned with. Because people all around them have fucking nukes and big armies. So, the point in which you have something to be able to show us leverage is the point in which the US and other stakeholders, especially those looking to destabilize you, can actually take you seriously and see you as a threat. If the other side is like, oh, more conflict, chemical weapons, we think mutually assured destruction exists. In the same way that nuke versus nuke allows you to be able to not fire at each other for obvious reasons, the existence of chemical weapons amidst so many people having nukes, especially the other side of the United States, is a means to not give them too much leverage. B, counterterrorist cooperation. Sounds nice, right? But we think that's a foothold for the US to be able to give them some sort of proxy control in the name of the Patriot Act, which we saw post-Bush administration, in the name of Uncle Sam, who's literally going to be able to use all of their levers and control to be able to potentially have influence, like red tagging particular members, because they want to be able to crack down on terrorism in the name of this cooperation. So, it puts their particular people at risk, of which have so much cultural and religious diversity that we think the West is not blind to. They're gonna call them, Syria, Muslim, probably a terrorist, because they're erring on caution, because they're afraid of what fucking happened in 9/11. I know that happened because of other reasons, but that's exactly the point in which they're gonna make all of these assumptions that people from that side of the world, people from that region, are ultimately sketchy. C, we think that the idea here is to characterize what exactly is particular Syrian interest, and we think that it's a couple of things. Number one, it is a proper transition to that new government. It's not entirely sure what that would look like, but in and of itself, we recognize pain points in this transition that are leading to that. But a couple of features we think that includes is political, economic, and social stability, at the same time establishing a sense of autonomy, because people are sick and tired of what they had during the Assad administration, and we think that US involving themselves in any particular meaningful way that actually makes them less of a force to be reckoned with, reminds them of the ghosts of the past, and becomes the very specter that makes it hard to be able to opt in, and it's a form of neo-colonialism that ultimately makes it harder for you to be able to exercise your choice and agency. PUI, go for it.
Yeah, we agree, bro, that, Syria probably might need guns and probably might not have use for chemical weapons, but where exactly would they buy these guns?
They already have it, right? We think that what the US wants is to kinda demilitarize them of sorts. Parang tanggalin natin pangil nila, bro, para they can't bite us, because it's in US interest. So conversely, we think it is in their interest to not let that happen, especially amidst the comparative, which is nothing. Because if you read the info slide and understand what's happening, because of that strategic ambiguity, the things that Syria has to commit to, or their concessions, are clear, but we question the upside and what the US is going to do in terms of sanctions relief. And we think that even at best, those things are favorable for them. That doesn't outweigh all of the things that they're doing right now in the domestic economy, in the domestic political arena, which is really establishing a sense of autonomy and legitimacy and forming this newfound state to be able to move past the things that have happened. So what we told you so far is that because this proposition or thing that the US is saying is vague, it's uncertain, it's unclear, it's completely valid to say no and reject that, especially at the point in which they're not super clear about negotiating. This goes to show that the US isn't prioritizing this or taking this as seriously, but the point in which you accept this particular proposal, of which doesn't have a clear upside, is the point in which you lock yourself to the things that I mentioned that ultimately restrict your capacity to be able to defend your borders, protect your people, and empower your governments. And for all of these reasons, we are very proud to open this debate and stand on side proposition. Thank you.